A decimal fraction is a type of fraction. So for example, 0.9 means 9/10, and it can also be written as a fraction as 9/10. Similarly, a fraction such as 57 over 100 can be written as a decimal as 57/100. But what about fractions that are not over 10 or 100 or 1,000 and so on, like 1/5? How do we find the equivalency of these fractions if we want to write them as decimals? To change a fraction to a decimal, what you do is divide the bottom number into the top. So 1/5, for example. To convert that to a decimal, we're going to divide the bottom number, 5, into the top. So let's set it up for long division. 5 goes into 1, and obviously 5 doesn't go into 1. But what we're doing here is dividing decimals, so I can just add a decimal and a 0. And I'll move the decimal straight up. Now 5 does go into 10 twice, and I'll write the 2 above the last digit in the number I'm dividing into. 2 times 5 is 10. We're done. So 1/5 is equal to 0.2. Let's try another example, 3/8. How would we express this fraction as a decimal? Again, we're going to divide the bottom number into the top number. So 8 goes into 3. And obviously 8 does not go into 3 because 3 is smaller, so we're going to add, I'm going to need some more space here, we're going to add a decimal and a 0. We'll move that decimal straight up. Now how many times does 8 go into 30? If you know your times table, you know it goes 3 times, and 3 times 8 is 24, and we subtract, we have 6 left over. And we're dividing decimals, so there isn't going to be a remainder. So we'll just add another 0 and bring that down. How many times does 8 go into 60? Well, you know that the answer is 7. And 7 times 8 is 56. So again, we subtract. We're going to get 4. So we can't have a remainder here. So we'll add another 0. How many times does 8 go into 40? Well, it goes 5 times, and 5 goes into 8. 5 times 8 is 40. So now we have a remainder of 0. So 3/8 is equal to 0.375. Now note, if the decimal were to go on for too long, then we might round it off. Or if it's something that repeats forever, so for example 1/3 is 0.3333333 and on and on and on forever, so you could round that off to just 0.3, or you can write it as a repeating decimal, and there are two ways to do that. One way is like this with a line over it, and that shows this is a repeating decimal. Another way to do it is just to have like a dot above the 0.3, and that shows that that 3 repeats indefinitely. Okay, so we know that to convert a fraction to a decimal, you're going to divide the bottom number into the top. But what if you have a mixed number, like 3 1/4? Okay, in order to do this, what we're going to do is create a mixed decimal. So the whole number is going to stay the same. It's still going to be 3. And then you're going to take the fraction and divide the bottom number into the top. In this case, we divide 4 into 1, doesn't go. 4 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. We subtract, we get 2. Okay, but we can't have a remainder, so let's add another 0 and bring that down. 4 goes into 25 times. Okay, so 3 1/4 is equal to 3 0.25. Finally, how do you convert improper fractions? So let's say we have 32 over 5. An improper fraction is when the number on the top is bigger than the number on the bottom. Right, so to change a fraction to a decimal, again, you're just going to divide the bottom into the top. So 5 goes into 32 how many times? And in this case, 5 does divide into 32, goes 6 times. So 6 times 5 is 30. And we subtract, we get 2. Now 5 doesn't go into 2, so I'm going to add a decimal and a 0 and bring that down. 5 goes into 20. Oh, and since I added the decimal, I have to move that decimal straight up. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. So 32 over 5 is equal to 6.4.